Hey friends, this is Dennis Sisi. There's so much going on in the world, so much fear, so much anger, so much doubt in these past couple of days that really has probably sent us, all of us, into our thinking corners. It is no doubt a time of great change, and we are struggling with that. All of us are struggling with that. We have had many different manifestations asking for equity, justice, and yet we're struggling to really make sense of it all because we oftentimes bring that back to a political stance of sorts. And maybe that is the challenge of our times, is to depoliticize things. And so we get trapped. We get trapped in different thinkings and different labels and different things. And when that happens, we lose sight of humanity at times. We go back to our teams and our identities, and we just forget that we're all humans, that we're all spirits, just having a temporary journey through this physical body, through this physical world, on our way to learning and growing. And so how do we face all of this? And it's hard because oftentimes change requires us to go outside of our comfort zones and to do things differently and to change and modify the ways in which we act. That is very hard because it has taken us some time to build up to where we are, and changing that all of a sudden is very hard. But so how do we face all of this? And this wonderful story from the New Testament came to me, and you might remember this. This is the parable of the lost sheep, which we find in Luke 15. We find also in Matthew, and it's a wonderful story because you might have heard that. It's about Jesus talking to other folks and saying, suppose that one of you has 100 sheep and you lose one of them. Doesn't that person who has 100 sheep leave the 99 sheep behind in the open field and go searching for the one lost sheep? And when they find that lost sheep, don't they bring it back on their shoulders to where the 99 are and rejoice and tell all their friends that they found that lost sheep? And that's a wonderful little story, and oftentimes we think of that story for some reason in religious terms. We think of conversions of sinners or what have you, and I think that it also has to do with the greater humanity in us. That we need to make sure that all of us, that all our sheep, all our friends, all the people amidst us, all of those who are close to us are okay. That it's not enough that just 99% of them be okay. And this is a calculation that sometimes we make, right? I think that in our common thinking nowadays, if we have something and 99% of it is good, we think that's great odds. Maybe we shouldn't worry about that one sheep that got lost because we still have 99 left. Maybe we shouldn't really put ourselves at risk or risk losing the other 99 to kind of go fetch that one. And so we make our calculations to whatever it is most comfortable to us. But here's a beautiful story by Jesus telling us that we need to make the effort to go after 100% of the sheep. We need to make the effort to make sure that all of us are okay. It's not enough that 99 out of 100 of us are okay. We have to go out and make sure that everyone is okay. This is the callings of our times. We have to sometimes spend more time into that one sheep that is lost, that is not where they should be, and put the 99 aside. Even there's 99 of them, even if there's 99% of them, to focus on who needs it most. And in that moment, that one sheep needs us most. Because in that moment, they are alone, they are suffering, they're scared, and they're hurt. And so Jesus goes after them and brings them back on his shoulders. maybe it's time for us to do the same. For us to realize that it's not enough for just our inner circle to be okay. That we have to make an effort and leave that behind and go after who's not okay. Because we often place ourselves in the role of the shepherd. But what if we were that one sheep? What if we were that one person who's hurt, lost? How would you feel? We're not dealing with numbers. We're dealing with people. We're dealing with feelings and families and parents and children, mothers and fathers. When we lose one person, it's already too great of a loss. So, in this new era that's coming upon us, and when the world seems to be acting up in so many unpredictable ways, it seems that everything is just bubbling up. And we are forced to struggle with things that we haven't really dealt before, that maybe it's time for us to change the way we used to think about things. Having everything 99% okay is not good enough. Because there's one person out there, out of 100, that is not okay. And when you add that one person 1,000,000 times, it's a lot of people. And what if you are that one person? Would you like to be excluded? Would you not like to be treated the same and have some kindness and love and support and appreciation and respect shown to you? So let's make that effort. Let's make that effort to no longer hedge your bets and say 99% of the way is good enough. Let's think humanely. Let's put ourselves in other people's shoes and say, what if I were the one who was hurt and lost? What if I were the one being mistreated? How would I feel? Let's leave labels aside. Let's come together, because a rising tide lifts all boats. Especially when we consider that as immortal spirits, our lives today may not be the lives we'll have in our next incarnation. Today we might be one of the 99. Tomorrow we might be that one lost sheep that is not experiencing a great environment. Everything can change. Now, if we bring the 100 together, then no matter where you are, you win. So let's do that. Let's win together. Let's remember that in this time and age, just being almost there or being okay for the majority of the time is not good enough. What I hear Jesus calling to us and echoing through the times is an invitation for us to truly pay attention to not only those who are immediately around us, not just the 99 that we can see and are doing well, but to pay attention who's not doing well. And go after that through action, to bring them into that sense of belonging, of plenty, of community. So look around you. Rejoice with those that are around you. But who's not around you that could benefit from what you have? Go after them. Extend the bonds of friendship. Extend whatever it is that you can to make them feel welcome, belonging, valued, seen, and known. And if you do, what a better place it is. Let's no longer pay attention to numbers or ratios. Let's pay attention to people. And let's bring everyone to the finish line of happiness. That, it's very hard, my friends, but it's necessary. That's the only way forward. Nobody wins until all of us win. So I hope the more and more you can do just that. You can be that difference in the world. You can go out there and make that happen. Because you will. Your individual actions will make a tremendous difference in the world. It always has. It always will. Because that's the only way the world changes. When people like you and I go out of our way, out of our comfort zone to make things better. Let's do it. Let's make sure that we don't lose this opportunity. This world needs to move forward. We are here for this. We were born for this. Let's make this happen.